We'll get going with the Costco haul. All right, here we are. Let me make sure you can see me and see all the things and hopefully hear me. So, Costco, I went to the location that's in Mason, Ohio yesterday. So that is, pretty much Southern Ohio. And we found some cool things. Right when we walked in, we found our Collagen Peptides. So again, I can't say like this is the best brand ever. This is the one you should use. This is just the Collagen Peptides that right now, in my opinion, are the most affordable. And so I went ahead and bought these Vital Proteins. I have heard Lady Bird Provisions, which I believe I've only ever seen online, has an organic collagen at this time. So if that's a thing for you, I know I'm interested in it. I'm gonna try it out as soon as I can get my hands on some. So Vital Proteins are almost always at our Costco's, no matter what location I go to, and they're hands down the most affordable price. This is an animal product. It's made from cowhide, so you need to know that, obviously. I use this, honestly, I use this more than any other protein supplement that I have tried, because to me, I can put this into smoothies or hot drinks without changing the flavor or texture. And I've read that it is the proteins that are coming from this are well absorbed by our body. One really important thing to know is that this is not complete protein, it's missing tryptophan. But you don't need to panic about that, because if you're over here with us in the Well Woman's community, in the Fast Way to Fat Loss, tracking macros with me, you are likely eating tryptophan and other foods during the day. If you're having some almonds with this, check the box off tryptophan. You know that I usually combo this with my favorite soy milk because soy milk often has protein, so I use unsweetened soy milk. I'm trying to get my protein wherever I can, right? There's tryptophan in soy milk. So this can easily work to help you out with your protein. But I also do really hold myself to not using this for more than 1/3 of my protein macros a day, because it's a processed food essentially, really, when you think about it, right? So doing the best I can. Right now I'm eating about 125 grams of protein a day. And this helps me out. It's often part of my breakfast meal routine. I actually just had a protein latte and a nice big bowl of blueberries to break my fast. And it was so good. So I just comboed this with my soy milk, and then I give it some flavor somehow. What I used today was this fun powdered turmeric tea stuff I found at Whole Foods. Essentially has no macros, but it makes the latte taste like a golden latte. It was so good. Good morning, Sabrina. It's so nice to see you. My daughter has another plant she wants to show you. If anyone needs any succulent help or to purchase succulents, especially if you're in California, you need to reach out to Sabrina at Succulent Obsession. She has a fantastic website now. So back to the Costco haul. This was the first thing we saw. We went in and I was like, I know it's going to be a good day. And then the next thing we saw, I did not drag it down here, but it's the Ninja blender that I just bought, you guys. Over Memorial Day, I thought, I'm so smart. I'm going to shop the Memorial Day sales and I'm going to buy this Ninja blender with a smoothie bowl attachment that people had been saying, you know, this, I've had a Ninja for a while. It's held up really well because my Vitamix was literally dying. I've had that baby for like 15 years. And I'm sure I can go get it tuned up, but I have to admit, I love a smoothie bowl. I love the thickness. I'm into the gimmick. I use them a lot. So I bought mine for $129 on the Ninja website on Memorial Day. Well, next thing we saw at Costco was the Ninja is there with an additional $30 rebate. It's $99. It's the most powerful motor they have. You get a huge blender with it. You get it like a to-go cup, and you get the smoothie bowl gimmick, which totally does work though. And so the gimmick of the smoothie bowl is you're using a little less liquid and it comes out thicker. So if you're interested, there was a huge supply at my Costco. I would bet, I didn't check any of this online, you all, but go to Costco.com and I bet you can check and see if it's in your area. You can't, as always, if it's at Costco, you're not going to beat the price. You're just not. I don't know how you would. So that was the next thing we saw. We went and got some batteries after that. And then it was just, it kept going really well. Right next to the batteries in the Ninja, let me move my collagen out of the way. Let's see, was this situation? Is it too close to the camera? Let me see. It's that Snapware from Pyrex. Can you see it okay? This was, I believe, with the rebate, $15, and there are 18 pieces, so I think they count the lid. So still great, like 9 storage containers. And what I love about this is that the seal, and you can see it's like the colorful part, is real. So what I've been doing is using these to freeze things in the freezer, because you know I'm a big proponent of like cooking a lot at once and then freezing it and using it later. And so I wanted to avoid using too much plastic in the freezer. I just kind of was getting weirded out by it. And I feel bad using all these plastic bags that could never be really recycled. So this works like a charm. No freezer burn. I've frozen meat, chicken, beef, pork, raw and cooked. I've frozen rice, quinoa, beans, lentils. What else have I done? Those are the big ones. In these containers, no frostbite, no negative consequences whatsoever. They're holding up really well to my family, my kids. The snaps are not breaking off. So at Costco now, a little extra off, $15, really smart investment. Those were the next thing we saw. And then let's start talking carbs, proteins, and fats wise, because when I shop Costco, when I shop anywhere, I'm always thinking carbs, proteins, and fats because I have learned how to track my macros. The macros are the carbs, proteins, and fats. And I love it. It just gets me everything I want for my life. My wellness, my energy, my results in my body composition that I want, lets me build muscle. It's wonderful. So let's keep talking protein. Since we started with the Collagen Peptides, which if you're a Costco person and a macro tracker, this probably wasn't a surprise to you. It's there, great price. There was also the chocolate. I just stuck with the unflavored, but they have a chocolate version now that has gotten rave reviews from my women that are in the Well Women's community and give me their feedback, which I appreciate so much. Another great protein find if you're into PB2, which again, a little bit processed. So they've turned peanuts into this, and it gives you 8 grams of protein for 2 tablespoons, just a tiny bit of fat, 2 grams. It's giving you 5 carbs and 3 grams of fiber. So good dose of fiber. They have added sugars. They have added cane, palm, or coconut palm sugar. It's at least organic in this one, and they have salt in here. So you gotta know for every 2 tablespoons of this, you're adding 2 grams of sugars. I bring that up because it's really important to me that I am no longer addicted to sugar. I will be real transparent with you and say I grew up in an alcoholic family. So I grew up living in addiction. It is not fun. And I pretty much have been addicted to sugar all of my life. You know, it was my drug of choice without even really knowing it, because sugar absolutely operates in our body in an addictive manner. It is addictive to our body in the same way that cocaine and methamphetamine are. So I had been addicted to sugar forever. I hate that feeling of being addicted to something. It's the powerlessness. I'm all about food freedom, right? When you're addicted to sugar, just like being in an alcoholic situation, you don't have freedom. So by accident, you maybe have heard me say this before, when I joined the faster way to fat loss and started using intermittent fasting and focusing on whole food nutrition, and my coach there said, I want you to avoid added processed sugars for these 6 weeks, because we work in these 6-week sessions. And I was like, okay, let's try this. Gonna be, who knows? I did it, and it wasn't hard. So what happened for me, the science for my body was that intermittent fasting brought my blood sugar into such a good balance. And then learning whole food, getting the carbs, proteins, and fats I need in the balance that my body wanted, let my body say, oh, we're good now. I'm not gonna crave the sugar, and you can be without it, we'll be fine. It was amazing. It was like, I kept saying to my husband, I'm like, I feel like I just got this. He started saying I've got this feeling, right? Like that's what's going on. It was so good. So that is why I bring up even 2 grams of added sugars, because for some of you, especially if you have already been told by your doctor that you're in the range of being pre-diabetic type 2, or what else did they say to us? You are insulin resistant, then you want to let yourself avoid every bit of added sugar that you can. Honey is an added sugar. It's a processed sugar. So is agave syrup, rice syrup, brown rice syrup, beet juice, all those things. And they're in all this stuff. So we just have to keep our eyes out and know that it's there. For me right now, because of the muscle mass I have, because I track my macros, I focus on whole food, and I still use intermittent fasting, I can handle this extra 2 grams of sugars a day. You're shooting to stay under. For women watching me and for kids, we have the same recommendation. Under 25 grams a day of added sugars is what the American Heart Association has suggested you do to avoid disease. Once you're over the 25 grams of added sugars a day, you are correlated with getting all kinds of disease, from brain cancer, all the cancers, heart disease, which is why the American Heart Association started talking about it. So that's about 6 teaspoons of table sugar. It's about 100 calories of sugar. So 2 grams counts, right? Keep your eyes out. What else? Oh, granola, which they did not have the Purely Elizabeth granolas this time. I was so frustrated. I love that stuff. It's a great nut and seed based version, is the one they had at Costco the past few trips. I love it for my low carb days. They were totally out, but that's another one where there's a few added sugars. So be on the lookout. And I'm actually gonna bring this one up next. So again, phenomenal deal. I forget the exact price, but this will last forever. It's 2 tablespoons at a time for 8 grams of protein. If you haven't tried it, it's phenomenal. I used it in a smoothie yesterday and I finally got it open. I had the hardest time getting it open. If you want a good laugh, watch my IGTV from yesterday when I was trying to get this to make my chocolate peanut butter smoothie bowl. Finally got it open. It was so good, so good. So worth it. Love this stuff. Make it into dips. Go to their website. They have like a whole entire, it will blow your mind how many recipes you can do with the PB2, and it's all on their website, pb2.com. Here's another one where there's some sneaky added sugars. We buy this for my husband. He loves it, so we usually get it at Costco. Saves us a lot of money. But there are 9 grams of added sugars in here. Now, the recommended added sugar number is a little higher for men, so he can get away with a little bit more. But we save this high up in the cabinet just for my husband, because 9 grams of added sugar would be almost half of what my kids and I should have in a day. And you're thinking, oh, but this is supposed to be healthy. They just added sugars to the cherries and the craisins that are in there. So still really good steal at Costco if you're okay with that many added sugars. And we get that one for my husband. Let's see. I'm gonna go off my routine of where I said I'd focus on protein. I'll say 2 things and then let me get into this, because again, another really yummy, fine, pretty clean, but a little added sugar. And this is mostly carbohydrates and fat. I did get my organic chicken thighs, organic whole chickens at Costco. And it's pretty comparable quality to what you get from Whole Foods organic chicken. I think Whole Foods organic whole chickens are a little higher quality, little higher price as well. What I do is buy, depending on how much we've been using, 1 or 2 of their big bulk packs. There isn't anything less than like a 3-pack. I get it home and I unpackage it and freeze it, maybe in some of that Snapware that I showed you, or in those silicone bags. I think Tiffany's on here. I think you've tried those with me, and I know Layla has. The Stasher brand, Target has its own brand. I'll put the chicken into those and freeze it almost always the day we get home. Maybe I'll save a little, like we're having a chicken dinner tonight, so I've saved out a few, 2 pounds of the chicken breast to use tonight. So breasts, thighs, and whole chickens. The whole chicken, I have to be honest and say, I do not unpackage it. I freeze it in the plastic packaging that comes from Costco. So that's all out in the freezer. I do not buy their organic turkey anymore. Here's why. 2 reasons. It's not that lean anymore. They've switched brands, and I've started to find it at Whole Foods, which the price isn't too terrible, especially if you're a Whole Foods person. The Amazon Prime Rewards credit card gives you 5% cash back at Whole Foods. So I do that to help save. So I'm not getting the organic ground turkey at Costco anymore. It is now 90% protein, 10% fat. And for me, I'd rather just have 90-10 ground beef. I don't love turkey that much, and neither does my family. The Whole Foods ground turkey is 97% lean, 3% fat. And so, especially if you're in a calorie cutting phase like I am right now, that difference between something be 3% fat and 10% fat is a lot of your fat macros. So that's why I'm shifting away from the ground organic turkey at Costco, but they do have it. If that works for your macros, it's a great affordable place to get it. And honestly, for me, one of the only places I've ever seen organic ground turkey. And again, transparency, I used to live in Iowa for like a minute, and one of the biggest industries in our town was a turkey processing plant. And wow, you don't want a turkey that's not ethically raised and not organic. Just trust me, you don't. It's not pretty. So no more turkey for us. Over there in the frozen proteins, we did buy some wild-caught Alaskan salmon with the skin on. We often, if it's there and we need it, we'll get their cod fillets as well, and their shrimp that's wild-caught. So wild-caught Alaskan salmon was there. We bought some, great price, can't beat it. And decent quality for frozen fish. If you're like me in a place where frozen fish is pretty much the only option, they're individually packaged so that they're very easy to use. The cod and the wild-caught shrimp when available. And then also there's scallops sometimes at Costco frozen when available. It seems very expensive at first, but they're a protein bomb and they last a long time. It's a very big portion of the scallops. So shrimp, cod, wild-caught Alaskan salmon, and wild-caught shrimp and scallops. Did I say that twice? Then we also saw the grass-fed beef logs, for a lack of a better name. So they had a package, I believe it was 4 pounds of grass-fed beef tubes. Great price. If you're interested in grass-fed beef, which the more reading I do, the more important I realize it is, maybe even not to get organic beef, but to get grass-fed. So that was a cool option I had not ever noticed in the refrigerated section. So if you're in the frozen fish area, look behind you, and that's where those tubes of grass-fed beef were. Buy frozen chicken breasts, which sometimes there are organic ones with not too much added salt. So a really cool place to be. So, oh, Misty said, so Sarah Lee, oven roasted turkey breast is probably gross. You guys, you know we're all on a continuum of what we put in our body, right? Like I'm always feeling a little stressed about eating this. I'm like, it's not organic and it's cowhide. Heaven knows. Is it okay for us? It's hard to know, right? And we can't do research on humans. So we're all just doing our best. If the oven roasted turkey breast works really well for you now, which it probably does because it's so lean and so much protein and yummy, go with it, right? But do think about every once in a while you could find organic turkey breast. And if you had the time, you know, to cook it up yourself, you're saving yourself money and chemicals and sodium. But again, we're all just doing the best we can all the time. So we have to take everything with a grain of salt, right? Like we just do. I mean, even this, like, look at all the packaging that comes from Costco that we might not get from other places. Not good for the earth, but we've got to do what we got to do. So, all right, that was everything. Protein, lots of it. So again, you hear me, are the chickens area, so the cold area protein, we do a lot of that. And then frozen section for fish. For our family, we stock up there for sure. And remember, there's chicken over there in the frozen section, in the cold cases, and hamburger now that might serve you. And their eggs. And you don't need to go organic. And in fact, you're welcome, Misty and Wanda. This will all be saved. I'm even going to share it to my Fast Away VIP group. So don't worry, you got to go have your fun on your Sunday. The haul will all be saved and shared everywhere that I can, okay? And remember, I have a Costco focus macro shopping list. So let me know if you want it to help you keep like ideas in your mind of what's almost always at Costco. And it's ordered. My list is sorted by protein, carbs, and fats. Okay, so back to the eggs. Costco has not only organic eggs, they also have eggs that are like let to be free range and like walk around and eat the grass, which is supposed to be even more important for the overall goodness of the earth, because even the organic chickens are allowed to just be kept in these little tiny cages, and it's really sad. That was all there at Costco, as it always is. So take a look over at the eggs if you're an egg family. We definitely are. We pound through those Costco eggs, that big amount of eggs, no problem, because we're doing the frittatas and the scrambled eggs and my hard-boiled eggs every week. We use eggs a lot. So great place to get them if you go through that many. All right, this is mangled. I am sorry, but my kids love them. I wanted to say this next because remember how we were talking about added sugars, and this is probably the biggest caveat of shopping at Costco. You have got to read the nutrition labels. You can't just trust that it says organic or healthy or whatever. So this nutrition is now mangled, but right here I could see when my kids asked for these, I say how much included sugars, because they can both read now. My daughter somewhat, but she knows where to look. And it says right here, total sugars 6, includes 3 grams of added sugars. So you know there's 6 grams of sugar. Some of it's coming from fruit that wasn't it, so that's not an added sugar. But they have also had 3 grams of sugar added per little bar, because if you look in the ingredients, you then see that the third ingredient, which means the third most thing in here, volume-wise, is the sugar, evaporated cane juice. And there's also tapioca syrup. Very sugary. No wonder the kids love them, but I let them get them. Because again, we can kind of stay within our parameters. Remember, we're looking for under 25 grams of added sugars a day. These have 3 grams of added sugar per bar, but otherwise, these are pretty great. I could not make them this well myself at home. Their first ingredient is oats, then there's some sunflower oil, then the sugars, and then some dried fruits, and nuts and quinoa. There are nuts in here, so if you're an allergy to nuts, this might not be on board for you. And this is, okay, pretty macro balanced snack, but low on protein. It is 17 grams of carbs, 8 grams of fat, and 2 grams of protein. So the beauty of that is that my kids love them. I don't feel bad letting them have this for a snack or breakfast, whatever. They're delicious, and you can freeze them. So if you're thinking, oh, with those macros, I'm not sure how that would fit into my eating pattern. They freeze beautifully, and it's very easy to just set one out on the counter and let them thaw. So carbs and fats, very little protein. Kind of a yummy, friendly breakfast bar. Almost these for like a year, at least a year and a half now. These Sunrise energy bars, and they're organic, have always been over near the bread in our Costco, in the bread aisle. Pretty good stuff. Added sugars. Keep it in mind. All right, let's do, as always, if you eat peanut butter, I highly recommend Costco's peanut butter for, number one, it is so affordable. Number two, it's really clean. There's no sugars. They just add in a little bit of salt. There. Oh, my eyes are getting old. I don't think you can see the ingredients label until you rip open the packaging. No, here it is. I'm gonna say Costco won't do that to us. So dry roasted organic peanuts and sea salt. And here's a cool thing. So I've read a lot about peanuts because none of us have sensitivities to peanuts here, but I do understand that peanuts are one of the crops in the United States that's super heavily treated with pesticides. So that's why I like to get with organic, because they're gonna be less treated with pesticides. And then also the Valencia peanuts from the southern US, which is what this is made from, are supposed to be some of the ones that work best for our digestion and cause less inflammation. How crazy is that? It's another one of those things where, like with food, you could just go down a rabbit hole of everything, can't you? But we love the flavor. We just give it a stir with a knife and keep it upside down in the fridge. And this is, if you see us using peanut butter, this is what we do. And we definitely stock up. There was that. Let's see, what else? Okay. You know, I sometimes get my oatmeal there and my quinoa, my brown rice, if it's available. I did not see the oatmeal we love this time, unfortunately. We didn't need quinoa, but they have great, if you are like, oh, quinoa, especially organic, is very expensive, check Costco. Same with brown rice. When they do have their organic brown rice, you can't beat the price. It's phenomenal. And it's over in the aisle where the rice and the flour and all those goodies are. So is the quinoa. So over on that way, we got some vinegar. We use this in all kinds of stuff. So super duper price, super duper huge bottle. We do buy a little more added sugar. Can you tell it's like summer and I'm home with the kids and they went shopping with me? We do get maple syrup from Costco simply because of the price. I know this can be, especially if you're Canadian, you might say, oh, Amanda, not good enough, but organic maple syrup is what we do get it at Costco. And I have taught my kids that though this says a serving size is a 1/4 cup, that doesn't mean that's the serving size at the Brockmans. They've learned a lot about nutrition labels from me, but it really was fun to see them at Costco really putting it to work. I'll show you how they did it next with these juice bars. So we've talked about how the companies can put any suggested serving size they want on a nutrition label. It has nothing to do with anything to do with your health. It's just what they claim most of their customers would use as a serving. And the USDA, who takes care of nutrition labels, who's the boss of them, wants them to do that because they want you to be having a picture in your mind of what you're going to get when you eat this food. So they're like, yeah, most people are pouring on a 1/4 cup of syrup. Oh my gracious, that's a lot. So my kids and I have talked about how we don't do that. We're going to dial it down to 1/3 of that and use a tablespoon at a time. So that's where we get our syrup, and it's always at Costco. So this was one where it was fun to see the kids testing out their added sugar situation, and we also just had to have a talk about it too. They wanted some fun pre-made popsicles for the summer. Because, you know, when they go to their friend's house, they all have them and they want to share. So I had them turn it around to the nutrition label. And our eyes always go first with the kids to the added sugar section. And so when it says 0 grams, that's usually a good sign. Then I have them go look, which these do. And then I have them go look at the ingredients. And you see that this is juice. So the kids and I have had a lot of talks about this, and the pediatrician has talked to them too. Our pediatrician recommends that my kids no longer drink juice. You know, from the time they're babies, he said, we no longer recommend you drink juice because the fruit has lost its fiber when you're having the juice and you're just getting tons of sugars. Yes, they're from nature. They're not an added processed sugar, but it's just straight up sugar. And your body doesn't need all that much just straight up sugar. You need your fiber that used to be in those grapes and pineapples and passion fruit. But when we juice dip, the fiber got left behind. So we talked about how this is a sugary treat and we'll use them in moderation and all those good things. So great price at Costco. We're gonna pop them in the freezer and have fun with these this summer. Here's another one we wouldn't usually buy, but I get to go to a celebration of a really cool smoothie juice stores one year anniversary tomorrow, and I'm gonna have a little booth, and I want to share some macro-friendly Costco finds, macro-friendly treats and snacks. And these are, so I got some of these to share. I have honestly never, when I go to Costco, I honestly like turn my blinders on to a lot of packaged food. So that's why I said this was an unusual Costco haul for us, because we were actually looking for these things this time. So don't know if these are always there or not, but you can see, all right, let's look at the nutrition label. We've got 23 carbs, 9 grams of fat, and 12 grams of protein. This is a relatively macro balanced snack, but how full and satisfied are you gonna feel from eating this much is what you need to ask yourself, especially depending on what your macros are, or if you're in a calorie cutting situation like I am now. So I went from maintaining where I eat about 2,000 calories, 1960 calories, to cutting calories for 6 weeks, which is what I'm doing now. So I'm eating about 1,650 calories a day. So in that reduction, I have a different perspective on macros. I'm like, would I want this for a snack that's going to use up a lot of my macros, and I'm not probably going to feel all that full and satisfied. But if you are someone who's generally feeling too full from your macros, these are a very macro balanced snack, and they're very clean. You're getting dates bringing you sugars, but if we go in here and look at the added sugars, there are none. There's 0 grams of added sugars. There's 13 sugars in here though, and from dates. So Sabrina was saying, keep these in my purse. Feed bag, you are hilarious. For emergencies, yes, amen. And oh dear. I won't say who said this, but I think those RX bars taste like cardboard. My kids agree with you. I know. So again, my kids didn't love them. My husband and I do enjoy these. And I have noticed if you warm them up just for a few seconds in the microwave, they're actually even better. And I love what Sabrina said about how these are a very macro balanced snack. Smart to keep in your purse for emergencies. They travel really well. They're like a Larabar, but with protein, more protein. Yeah, I think they're a smart tool to keep in your back pocket if you're tracking your macros. I don't know that I would say, oh, this is what I'm going to use for treat day, but I have seen people jazz them up, like warm this up in the microwave, drizzle on some peanut butter, that type of thing. So at Costco, this is the most affordable way to buy them, in my opinion, if they're on your radar. RX bars, and these were the only 2 flavors they had: peanut butter chocolate and chocolate sea salt. Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, oh, and okay, yeah. So if you, Larabars are again a little sweeter, a little different texture, because they are more dates and less protein. And but still, okay, I wouldn't call a Larabar a macro balanced snack because it's so low protein, but great again to take with you on the go for emergencies. So very smart. And now, I've never seen Larabars at Costco. Has anyone else? I've never seen them at Costco. I wish we would get them at Costco. It would save my family a fortune, because that's one of our go-to like bars. So when we have ballet Monday night, I bring the kids Larabars after school because we have to go straight to ballet. So these are not bad, Costco. We'll see if they keep having them. You guys tell me, because I've never looked for them there before. Here's another one I've never looked for at Costco before. Again, because we generally just don't do these packaged snacks, because you know who will eat them all. My children. They'll be gone like in a moment. Lynette, that's a good point. Let me back up a second. Okay, keep this in mind. These have a good dose of sodium, which can be fine. About 13% of your daily sodium, which can be fine. But yeah, if you're watching that, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. Okay, so these, you may have seen these at Starbucks. This is where my son discovered them. And again, we got these because I want to share them as something that could be, just like you guys said, you could carry them in your purse. It's a macro doable snack, because we can't always have the fresh apple and banana. We are not perfect. We need it. It is an effective strategy, I'm trying to get the words out, for us to have some of these things in the pantry or in our purse or in the car as a backup or as a treat. If you're like, just the time and energy this saves me and it just feels like a little treat, do that for yourself, right? So that's why I want to share these. That's why I'm going to share these at this event we're having tomorrow. And it's for Green Farms Juicery in Mason, Ohio. If you are local, come on out 3 to 5 Sunday tomorrow. It's going to be really fun. So these are tiny, 60 calories, apples and mangoes in this little bar, and that's all that's in here are the apples and the mangoes. And let's look at the fiber, because here's what I always wonder. Is this a situation like these popsicles where they say no sugar added and organic and all the good things, but it's just the sugars from the fruit, and so you're really just eating sugars? Let's see. And then Natasha, I'm going to see what... You found some extra bars in Perrysburg, Costco last month. Okay, these. Let us know if that's what you mean. All right, so with these little tiny fruit bites, what do we have? No fat, because it's fruit, obviously. Little tiny sodium to preserve it. 15 grams of carbs, 2 grams of fiber, 13 of sugars. Okay, so here's the deal with that. Carbohydrates are made of sugar, starch, and fiber. They can have all three of those, just one, or a little of any combo of the three, okay? So this has 15 carbs. Of that, 2 are fiber and 13 are sugars. So they've left, what that means is this one has no fiber. They took out, all the fiber, all the fruit fiber that would help this digest more slowly and be less of a situation for your blood sugar is gone from here. Not the case here. A little teeny bit of fiber was left here, so these aren't going to spike your blood sugar quite as fast and high. So that's why these aren't such a bad choice. And it's just a small little dose. Little way to get those last, how many carbs did I just say? 15 carbs in at the end of the day. Another something to keep in your purse if you're like, it's just not working to carry apples and bananas with me. These could be on your radar for sure. And the flavors that were in here, blueberry, mango, and strawberry. And they all have the same, relatively the same nutrition facts. The blueberry has a teeny bit more fiber. Testify for the berries, right? They're so good with the fiber. So these were there at a really nice price. There are, I think, 24 little tiny bars in there. So 8 of each flavor. Does anybody use these? Yes, and I get my Larabars at Target or Kroger, or we don't get them in Whole Foods, they're overpriced there, but Kroger puts those on sale so often. Okay, yes, Natasha, these you saw last month at Costco, so maybe Costco's on board and gonna keep these around for a while. We'll see. Maybe we can all write them a letter and tell them to bring back the Purely Elizabeth granola that I love that was there, that was like the best price ever. So frustrating. All right, these were kind of over in the healthy snacks and treats aisle, as were dun da da da. Another treat, yes. Another treat. Okay, I've heard phenomenal things about these, and here's how I'm gonna leverage them because I use carb cycling. I'm gonna leverage these on my low carb days because here on the nutrition label, these are mostly fat. So chocolate, cocoa is mostly a healthy fat. And then it usually has fat and sugar added to it to make it like candy chocolate, okay? So they're calling these keto, but really, here's the beauty of this. This is just, the only ingredients here are really clean. They are dark chocolate, coconut, almonds, and sea salt. So, and cocoa butter, which is made from the cocoa, the bean. There's organic cane sugar, a little vanilla extract, little coconut. So, very clean. These have 6 carbs, half of which are fiber, and there's some added sugars. So, again, if you're willing to work with some added sugars, I've heard rave reviews of these. And you know what, Michelle? I didn't taste them yet because Michelle was saying I saw those, but I'm not a fan of coconut. I wonder how coconutty they are. I know there are other flavors as well, but I think this is the only one I've ever heard. This flavor, that's the coconut chocolate almond, is the only one I've ever seen at Costco or seen anyone share is at Costco. So this is another one here. Let's see, 2 snaps. You think there's 2 snaps in a, okay, here's what they look like. So 2 of these will give you 15 fat, 6 carbs, 3 fiber, and 3 grams of protein. So these are another one I'm gonna take to the Green Farm Juicery's first anniversary tomorrow to share as a snack that you can make fit in your macros, a little treat you could use. What I read people doing was making their banana and ice cream, and I may do this today. Yeah, I'll do this and test them out today. And crunching these up over their banana and ice cream as some chocolate. And let me grab something else that's totally not from Costco, but it goes along with this that I found at Whole Foods. Just because I know enough of you watching do carb cycling too. Do you watch Flav City with little Rose? And she helps the dad cook. I love watching his IGTV, and he has a YouTube channel. So he talks about these keto cups. Again, there are various flavors, and these are really clean. So almonds, cacao, little fiber, little cocoa butter, some MCT oil, and some monk fruit extract. Here's what this guy looks like. It tastes somewhat like a Reese cup. It's really good over banana and ice cream. I would say no coconut flavor in this one, Michelle, so you might want to check these out. I've only ever seen them at Whole Foods. And again, 10 grams of fat, 7 carbs, 5 fiber, 3 protein. So a choice for treat day, a choice for maybe making it work on a low carb day because of the healthy fats, but not at Costco yet. Maybe they'll get there. All right, what other crazy stuff? Oh, not crazy. We always stock up on this one. So if you are working to meet your carbs goal, you'll always hear me say, keep things in the pantry and the freezer that will help you. So dried fruit with no sugar added is one of my go-tos to help me get to my carbohydrate goals if I'm a little low. And we also just love these. I don't like fresh mango. I love dried mango. And Costco, hands down, is the best, most affordable place to find organic, no sugar added dried fruit. This time they had mangoes, dates, figs, pineapple. I think those were the 4. We didn't need dates. We don't go through figs. We don't go through the pineapple fast enough, but we sure do this mango. So this will live in our pantry in a tiny little serving of this. So if you're one of the people out there tracking macros who's like, I'm just too full all the time, I can't hit my goals. One little tiny serving of this, it looks like about a half cup. I would weigh it though, is 34 grams of carbohydrates. So this is a carb bomb and it will not make you feel too full as long as you can handle that this is just fruit sugars. So 34 carbohydrates, 2 grams of fiber, 24 grams of total sugars. So this carb, remember carbs can have fiber, starches, and sugars. This carb is mostly sugars, just a little fiber, all right? But super duper place to get your dried fruit, and it's always, I've never been there and had them not have organic dried mangoes, thank goodness. Over in the quote unquote healthy snacks section, is that where these were? I don't think they were. Now I'm feeling like this was in a different place. Sorry, I kind of think this was on a special end cap. I let my kids get these. We love them. I have to say, and again, would I rather you just grab an apple, a banana, a real mango? Yes, 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 yes. Like, you know that if you watch the stuff I talk about. But all that said, these are so fun to have around. And they're baked and they're just apples. Like, where are my ingredients? Organic apples. So again, remember how I tell you to have the skin on things? Let's look at this. There's 27 carbs in here, but you know what? Instead of just being 2 fiber, like a lot of the other things we've been reading, this has 4 grams of fiber in a serving because they left the skin on. So good. Good job, Bear. Good job. And they have other flavors, but the apple one was the only one we saw at Costco. So this is definitely one where my kids and I will come to an agreement about what dish they can have these in and a serving size. Or else, again, these are gone in like an instant, which I'm always walking that line with my kids, and maybe you guys are too. My kids are 6 and 9. So I get that, like, now I can still kind of like walk this line with them. They're not yet off like being like, whatever, Mom, I'm gonna do whatever I want, which I want them to. But so for now, we walk the line between like, I don't want them to think, oh, I have to be guarded around food and have all this control and like feel like I'm gonna get fat if I eat too much. But I also want them to feel the food freedom that can come from seeing, well, when I look at the nutrition label, I have all the data. I know what I'm gonna get. I know how I'm gonna feel. And when I understand how to know about portions, I again know how I'm gonna feel, and they're not confused or overwhelmed or tricked by food. I want them to take away the empowerment piece, the food freedom piece. So that's why I'll say to them, you know, some days I'll be like, yeah, just have what you want. And then I even ask them like, well, how are you feeling? And we'll be like, not so good. I'm like, well, it's because having that whole bag of this for breakfast isn't gonna make you feel good because it's just carbs and some fat. You didn't get your protein. It was too much, right? And then we do those reflections. So that's why we'll talk about what kind of bowl would you use to scoop out your serving of the bear chips, and then how is that gonna make you feel? What would you wanna pair it with and feel really good? So here's what we're gonna do. Have you seen me share? We haven't done it in a while. When we cut up apple slices and then we drizzle some peanut butter on top and sprinkle some coconut on, and call them apple nachos and a little cinnamon. It is to die for. I promise you. Even my kids are like, I can't believe this is so good. It's just an apple. You can do that with these too, and it's even like, then it's crunchy. Oh my gosh. So even if you use real apples, a little of this on top and coconut, cinnamon, and peanut butter, oh my gracious, so good. So that's how I talk to them about, remember when we make apple nachos, we like them even better because of the peanut butter and the coconut and the cinnamon and blah, blah, blah. So that's the fats and the protein. And I'll say that to them about this. And I'm like, oh, we could dip these in peanut butter, that kind of thing. So that's the line I'm trying to walk. it's a thing, you know, if you're parents, you know. So you saw the bear sharing, we got this one. I am a sucker for already popped popcorn. I try so hard at home to make it taste as good. I can't do it. So this one's relatively clean, and if you measure it out, you can eat a ton of this and get 15 grams of carbohydrates. So this fits very, it's 10 grams of fat for the serving, but it's a huge serving. So you just think about what you need for your macros. For me, this is just such an indulgence and a treat, and I get to crunch on it. And I usually don't eat the serving size suggested on the bag because if I do, I'm just too full. It is corn. Corn is a carbohydrate. It does have some fiber in it. 15 grams of carbs. 3 of them are fiber. And some dietary fiber and insoluble fiber. So it's going to slow things down, which is good. Keeps your blood sugar level. So I think a lot of us are like, oh, popcorn's bad for you. Not the case. I'm not saying corn is the most nutritional thing we could eat, but not so bad. So we treated ourselves to a bag of this great big thing of popcorn. Okay. I know, kind of a weird haul this time, but this is just, I thought, you know, this is what we needed right now. Let me show you, in case you are one who likes to soak in magnesium. I actually take magnesium to support myself staying asleep. And because most Americans are deficient in magnesium, my hormone specialist prescribes me to take, right now I'm down to only 400 milligrams of magnesium at night. My sleep is doing phenomenal because I increased my progesterone. This is a whole nother story, but just want to mention it because some of you are on your hormone journey with me who are watching. There's not a lot of research to support this, but this is magnesium. So I wish they would do some more good research. Some say you could absorb magnesium through the skin, so you might benefit from soaking yourself in some Epsom salt, which is essentially some magnesium. And this is a phenomenal price. And what I love about this one at Costco, this is almost always at my Costco, over by the nasal sprays, the medicine, the vitamins, that area, bottom shelf usually, sometimes back closer to the optical department. This is totally unscented, no fragrances. Fragrances are huge hormone disruptors. So we go with this one. Michelle, you said which one? Which magnesium brand maybe? I just use Happy Hormone Cottage's magnesium. Ask me what else you mean when you said which one. And Michelle said, thank you for posting about Flav City. Bobby from Flav City. Oh, he's so good. He really is. So entertaining. And Tiffany, thank you so much for telling me about the first time I ever saw him was when his daughter's helping him cook. And I swear there's nothing more precious than watching Bobby from Flav City cook with his daughter. It is so sweet. She's only like 2. Michelle, yes, it's the Happy Hormone Cottage's magnesium. I was due to reorder all of my supplements and even try out some new ones. I will do an update on this. So I'm just using their brand. It is Magnesium Glycinate, and I'm using 400 milligrams Magnesium Glycinate. So we'll do a whole separate talk on a hormone update. I need to do that for you all. I haven't, just been a lot going on lately, and switching into summer and having the kids home all day. Everything's just we're still adjusting to our new schedule. But I'll tell you what. Yes, I do. The magnesium I take for my sleep is magnesium vitamins, basically. It's a magnesium supplement. It is magnesium and glycine. They call it magnesium glycinate. And it's 400 milligrams. So I'm taking 2. They're 200 milligrams each. They're a round, chalky little pill, but nice and small, easy to swallow. And the purpose is to help you stay asleep. I'm also using melatonin now, a tiny, tiny, really well-formulated little dose, again, from my Happy Hormone Cottage to help me fall asleep. So again, whole nother story. I have never looked for my magnesium at Costco. What I do sometimes get over here by the Dr. Teal's, and this is totally connected, magnesium in other formulations and even magnesium glycinate can help you not be constipated. So can Dr. Teal's because it's magnesium. So if you're struggling with constipation, soaking in, I have had doctors tell me soaking in Epsom salts can help you ease your constipation. Interesting, huh? Magnesium glycinate will help you as well. So that's one supplement that I feel comfortable, because I am not a doctor, much less your doctor, but that's one supplement I feel comfortable saying everyone can benefit from magnesium glycinate. It helps ease digestion, and by that I mean it's easier to go poop. It also can help you stay asleep at night. So who doesn't need that, right? I know, we all need that. Magnesium glycinate. And if you don't have your own hormone specialist to talk to about supplements, here's my second idea. If you can find a small health food store around you, we are lucky to have one that I can walk to. They're supplement experts. I realized by accident the other day. So pick their brain, see what they've got on the shelf, because you want a clean magnesium glycinate. And the dosage range can really vary. I'm down to only 400 milligrams, which is like the lowest dosage. I know people who take up to like 800. So, I know, but I've never noticed it at Costco. They may have it. I don't know. I'll look next time. I know they do also have, speaking of digestion, probiotics. Daily shelf-stable probiotic is something else that I use to help my digestion as I consume enough protein and fiber. Protein and fiber slow down our digestion. That's okay. So to help it out, I do take a daily shelf-stable probiotic. I switch brands every time. So maybe once every 6 months or so at my Costco trip, I get their probiotic. It is in the yellow box. It's the popular name brand, which I can't think of right now, and super duper affordable. And when I want to switch brands, again, I go up to my local health food store and say, hey, what probiotic would you recommend for me this month? I want it to be shelf stable so that it survives my digestive juices and still has all the good stuff in it to help me out to digest my protein and feel unconstipated with how much fiber I eat. So let me see. What else? This is non-food, but it was fun to see Dr. Bronner's. If you've not used Dr. Bronner's, we love Dr. Bronner's around here. It's pretty organic. Some ingredients aren't. I love his chapstick. We love this pepperminty soap. We put it in our pumpers that will foam soap. So it was fun to see this at Costco. Phenomenal price. Obviously, as always, like 75% less than you could find it at any other store. So that was everything for this trip, okay? If you didn't get to catch us from the beginning, rewind, because there were some fun, different things this time. I was very happy we took the time and energy to go, even on a Friday afternoon, to a Costco. That Ninja blender for $99, you guys. If you're in the market, you're not going to find a better price on any of this stuff. So have a fantastic day. If you're in the Faster Way to Fat Loss with me, get to enjoy your treat today so that you don't feel deprived. Instead, you feel like you're taking great care of yourself and practicing your food freedom. And again, as I said in the beginning, if you want a copy of my Costco list I have, it's categorized by proteins, carbs, and fats, and it's all stuff that you could almost always find at Costco. Let me know, and I will get it to you. And so it might help your next Costco trip be really focused and powerful and money well spent. And I would be wrong to say before we go, if I didn't remember to mention this, that if you are a person who uses credit cards, which I know that some of us are not, but if you do, it's good to know. You can go up to the Costco service desk and ask about their Costco credit card that gives you cash back. That is what I use at Costco. So the cash that I get back from using that credit card when I buy at Costco covers the cost of having a Costco membership. Does that make sense? So I got back $384 the other day in cash back from using my Costco card. And you can use it for gas. You can use it anywhere. It's not just Costco purchases. So that $384 was free money, essentially, because it covered the cost of my Costco membership, and then there was some left over. So if you're thinking, this is all good and well and good, but I don't want to spend on a Costco membership, keep that in mind. That option's out there to help you kind of zero out the fee that is entailed in having a Costco membership. All right, Allison, I see you saying I would love your Costco list. So you know what I may have to do? Because once I close out the live, I can't see your comments anymore. If you have a second, message me. And if not, I will go add a link in my Instagram bio to the Costco list. So you could tap it and get it. And on Facebook, I'll do the same thing. I will put a link down there where you could tap, and it'll take you right to my website, and you can print it right off of there. Deal? All right. Because I know it's kind of hard. Like I said, the trick of Costco is not getting a whole bunch of stuff you don't need, or accidentally buying a whole bunch of stuff with a ton of added sugars because it looked like it was healthy and convenient, but you get it home and you're like, oh my gracious, there's no way I can ever make these macros work for me. But you can. I know you can do it. So again, have a great Saturday, and I will go put those links in there for you in the bio and in the comments. And I will tune in again, maybe 2 months from now, we'll do another Costco run. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for being here.